Alright, welcome to Dramani Online Maths. Please do all to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today we want to look at variation. And mathematics, when we say variation, we are talking about when one variable depends on what another variable. Let's take it to our real life. When the price of petrol is increased, is that okay? What happened? The prices of what commodity will also increase. The prices of lorry fare will also what increase. Is that okay? Very good. So that is what we call a variation. Whatever that happens to the other variable, it also affects the other. That's why we are saying that it depends on the other what variable. Is that alright? Good. Now, with this variation, we are going to look at these three types. We are going to look at the direct variation. Okay? And when we say the direct variation, I'll give you the explanation to it. We are also going to look at the inverse variation. Then we look at the joint or combined variation. Is that okay? Now, let's look at the direct variation. When we say a direct variation, we are talking about, we have already established the definition of a variation, where we say that when one variable depends on what the other variable. Okay, so for the direct variation is simply talking about when the variable increases, then the one that the other one is depending on will also increase. When it decreases, then the other variable will also what decreases. That is the direct. Whatever happens to the other variable, the dependent variable, it will affect the independent what variable. Is that okay? So now let's look at what I'm trying to talk about, and let's look at this statement. Okay. Y varies directly as x. Y varies directly as x. How do you write this? In variation, if you want to write y, this is the symbol. Y varies directly as what? X. So this is how you write it mathematically. Is that okay? So y varies directly as x. So because it's direct, that's how I write it. Now, I want to take off this variation symbol and bring what? Equal sign. For me to do that, I would introduce a constant. So before you can take off the variation symbol and bring the equal sign, you introduce what? A constant of a proportionality. So this k here is called constant of what? Proportionality. So is that okay? So the k there is a constant of proportionality. So anytime you want to take off the variation symbol, then and bring the equal sign, then you have to bring what? A constant. You can bring any variable you want to. But normally we have been using the k. Is that alright? Good. So now let's also look at this one. But when you get this, I have to make k the subject. Meaning that my k is equals to y over x, because you have to divide both sides by x in order to make k the subject. Now let's look at the example number 2. Y varies directly as the square of x. Y varies directly as the square of x, meaning that y varies as the square of what? X, so x squared. So if I want to take the variation symbol, then I will write as y is equals to kx squared. Kx squared. Is that okay? So if I want to make k the subject, my k will be y over x squared. Y over x squared. Now let's look at this. Y varies directly as the cube of x. So y varies directly as the cube of x. So if I want to take off the proportionality, so the variation symbol, then I have y equals to k x cube, meaning that my k will be y over x cube. Y varies directly as the cube root of x. Y varies directly as what? The cube root of x, like this. So if I want to take the sign, y equals k multiplying the cube root of x, meaning that if I want to make k the subject, I'll just divide both sides by that. So my k will be equals to y over cube root of x. Is that okay? Good. So this is how we write the variation. That's how we also change the variation symbol to equal sign. Thank you. Now let's look at how to solve some examples. Okay, so now let's look at this example. Example 1 under the direct variation. Given that p varies directly as the square of q and p is 4, q is 2, find q when p equals 1 over 4. So now this is our solution. Given that p varies directly as the square of q, meaning that p varies directly as what? Square of q. You can write this. So this one, if I want to introduce equal sign, I have to bring my constants of what? Proportionality. From here, let's make k the subject. And to make k the subject, I have p over q squared. If you don't know, just divide here by q squared, here by q squared. The q squared will cancel the q squared, leaving only the k. Now, from the question, we need to find our k. Anytime they give you any question concerning this, then you have to find your k. So they will give you values that you need to use to find the k. So for you to find your constant, they say that p equals 4 and q is equals to what? 2. So with this, we know that our k will be equals to p, which is 4, over 2 squared, because the q is already squared. So I have my k, which is 4 over 4, meaning that k is equals to 1. Is that okay? So now we come back to this side, where it says p is equals to k squared. Now, we work for k, which is what? 1. So 1 times q squared, which will give you the same thing, because 1 times anything will give you that thing back. All right. Now, the next question said, find q when p equals 1 over 4, okay? So meaning wherever I see p, I replace it by 1 over 4. So this p here, I'm going to replace it by 1 over 4, which is equals to like this. But remember, this is squared. So if I want to take off the squared, I have to take square roots. So q squared is equals to 1 over 4. Take square roots on both sides. So this will cancel that. So I have my q to be, this one can be written as 1. So this will give us 1 over 2. Therefore, our q is 1 over 2. So you can look at the procedure. First thing goes this way. So from here, p varies directly as what? Q squared. So if you want to remove the variation sign, then you introduce your constant of proportionality. You make k the subject, then you solve for k, then you come back to this equation to replace here by the k that we had. then you continue the process. Now let's look at example number 2. Okay, now let's look at example number 2. In the table below, y varies directly as x changes. Okay, find the values of a and b. We want to find the value of this b and a. Here is 1, 2. So what will be the next number? Here is 3, and here is 15. What will be the number in the middle? That's what I want to find. So before you start, mathematics, you have to write your solution. So before you start, let's start from the top. In the table below, y varies. So we say y varies directly as x changes. Okay, good. So we have to remove this variation sign. So that will give us y is equals to kx. Is that okay? Now, per what we have been doing, or from the example 1, we need to make k the subject and look for the k, or find k. So my k will be y over x. By dividing both sides by what? X here, the k will stand alone, and you get something like this. So from the table, this is the values for y, 1, 2, and a, and the values for x is 3, b, and what? 15. So when I pick y to be 1, then our x will be what? 3. Meaning that if I come to this side, my k will be y, which is 1, over x, which is 3. So I have my k to be 1 over 3. So from there, I have to come back where we're dealing with the example number 1. See that after getting the a, you go back to the equation and substitute the value of k there. So my y will now become, instead of k, is now 1 over 3. I have 1 over 3x. Is that all right? Very good. So now that we have our value for k, what is the next thing to do? We need to find our a and that of what? The b. So for me to do that, then I have to pick the, when y is what? 2, then my x will be b, because y is 2, then x is b. So when I come here, wherever I see y, I'm putting 2 there, which is 1 over 3. But x is b here. Is that okay? X is equals to b, so I just replace that by b. Now here is over 1, so I can do cross multiplication. And when I do that, 3 times 2, I'll get 6. 1 times 1b, I'll get b, meaning that my b is equals to 6. Is that okay? Now, let's also move to this place. When y is a, then x is 15. So let's go back to the equation. Y is a, 1 over 3 times x, but x is what? 15. Is that okay? This is the same thing as 15 over 3. And you know that 15 over 3 is 5. Meaning that our a is also what? 5. Therefore, our a is 5, then b is what? 6. Thank you very much. Now let's look at our last example under this direct variation. Now let's look at our last final example under this variation. Please try to subscribe and also make sure that you also solve more example yourself. Okay, good. So this is last example. P varies as the square of q plus 1, and p is 2 when q is 3. Write an equation connecting p and q. Find the possible value of q and k when p equals 8. Is that okay? So that's what we are going to do for now. So let's see. First thing, you have to write the equation connecting p and q. But p varies as the square of q plus 1. So p varies as the square of this. So you square this. Is that okay? So if I want to take off this, then I have p is equals to q plus 1 squared. Now, we were told to write an equation connecting p and q. Before you can do that, please, you have to find the value of k. After getting the value of k, then you come and substitute it here. Then that becomes the equation that is connecting p and q. Not p and q and that of k. No. So now, my k will be equals to p over q plus 1 squared. So you divide both sides by the whole of this to make k the subject. Now from this point, we know that from the question, p was given as 2 and q is given as what? 3. So my k will be 2 over q, which is 3 plus 1 squared. So my k will be 2 over 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4 squared. So k will be 2 over 16, right? You know I can reduce this one to 1 over 8. Is that okay? Very good. So once that we have this, we go back to the equation that we have here, which is p equals k bracket open q plus 1 squared. So my k is 1 over 8 q plus 1 squared. And this is for the I. The I said we should find the equation that is connecting p and q. And that's what we have. The question did not ask of k, so you need to work for the k to get a value for that. Good. The next one, find the possible value of q when p is 8. So we want to find the possible value of q when p is 8. So wherever we see p, we substitute what? 8. So let's see. Here will be 8 is equals to, no, this one I can write it as q plus 1 squared over 8, like this. Is that okay? This one too is over 1. So I can do cross multiplication here. And if I do that, to be 8 times 8, which is 64, is equals to q plus 1 squared. Is that okay? Now that we have this, we have to take square root on both sides in order to eliminate the squared. So let me do it, stop here. Q plus 1 squared is equals to 64. So if I take square root on both sides, that means my q plus 1, though this will cancel this, is equal to square root of 64. We have 8. So q will be equals to 8 minus 1. Why? This is plus here, so we take the additive inverse. If I bring the 1 here, we subtract, we have that. So my q will be equals to 7. I think it's very simple. Please, you will understand the direct variation very well when you practice for more questions. Please, if you don't get anything, you can leave that in the comment section or contact me on this number 0257-338819. Thank you very much for watching. Our next topic is going to be based on the inverse variation. Thank you.